Good job, Deadlight.
Don't worry. Just a bit of lag.
I really need a medic afterwards.
Where's he going?
Alright. How am I so fucked up? I always did hit a rock. I like
On your quad. In real life, you would be on the ground right now.
It's like
With
bleeding in the
600
chest
kilo
and
machine
your
on you.
Got the steering wheel right into the chest.
Oh no. Yeah, whilst wearing body armor, it definitely would be bleeding.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so what I'll do is I was just gonna place a NATO squad up on that hill.
Injecting more.
It's like yeah. Cool, right. What's that? So, we're at the radio tower. Where's the enemy position?
Over there.
Right,
West.
Can anyone see it?
Yeah, no, not really.
No.
Cool, so take us forward so you can see it.
Oh hey! Enemy!
Yeah, about here.
Right here? Yeah, what do we think of this, like where we are?
Good position for an OP, maybe?
Yeah,
Kinda close.
good recce position.
Maybe more towards there.
But for this context, exposed, Deadlight, you said?
Yeah, I mean there are a few rocks, but I mean, man.
Yeah.
Hang on. Let me do something that might change your mind about that.
Don't be a dickhead. Go and cancel. It's not the purpose of this. If you start fucking digging a trench 200 meters away from an enemy squad, I think they're definitely
Yeah,
going to see
no,
you.
don't worry, if it's
They're-
not mission, you're not gonna
Deadlight got it
notice.
straight away. So, just to go over what I would have done, I pretty much would have done, essentially what Deadlight's gone for, that approach there, because on the map and from where we were, that looked like the best plan. Now we're following this plan through. Actually, some of the other plans may have been better, but we get to this position now. There's some trees, we're quite exposed. They're also quite exposed, but there's nowhere for us to go. So what we'd probably have to do is maybe probably have to drop off some sort of fire team, get them to move into position if they don't get lit up, but as soon as they get here, so we're going to drop them off. So they're going to be dropped off here in this woodland area. They're going to start suppressing. And then looking at the ground, what I probably would have done, probably would have pulled around the back here with some smoke. Pulled down sort of to the coast. Then all of a sudden here, we're moving into good position. You can see one of them up there. We've got good cover. The other team is pinning them down, giving them good suppressive fire. We're pushing up, bounding forward, pairs pushing forward, pair moves up, another pair moves up. We've got a little avenue of approach down here on the left, below, and we've got one on the right, the high. We can move around here, the enemy still haven't seen us, we're still concealed whilst they're getting suppressed. Our base of fire, maybe our GPG over at the rocks at the same time as they're fired upon. And look, boom. Come around here. We're on top of the enemy position. So at this point they're either dead, or we've killed them, or we've fragged them. So we're pushing up now. At this point, you know, the friendly spy team commander, you can see where we were over there by those rocks. Going over that way. He's seen us. He's gone right, fucking Charlie or Delta, whatever they are, cease fire or shift fire right, meaning only engage on the right of arc. Everyone can see that we're moving in. We're like, right, cool, hold fire. Someone's going to throw a practice grenade at the enemy.
Grenade.
And what I would have done is I would have briefed them to hold fire as soon as the grenade goes off. And then we're rushing it straight up, like weapon just lowered stance, moving up as quickly as I can. Position clear, and then I just regroup, and at which point that fire team, unless there's a high IUD threat, at which they would follow the route that we had taken to this position, will then rush straight from their position straight to us, and then from here we will then either move on to the next enemy position or deal with whatever we do next. Everyone happy with what we just went through there? Close in on me. Obviously, Cynical, I know you got your background noise, mate, but welcome. It's good to see you again. I know Blitz obviously joined a bit late. So far, is everyone happy with what we covered? We're just going to do one final exercise where you're just going to go off on your own. I'm just going to give you like a location, and I'm going to say, right, I want you to plan for this, and then I'm going to come over, or we're going to come over in groups, and then you're basically going to brief us all up as if we are your fire team. So you're going to go through it formally, clear, and go through all the details like you would as if you were giving it to your fire team or section, or however you're comfortable. Everyone happy to do that?
Yep.
Yeah, everyone see the benefit? Everyone see why we're doing this?
Yes.
Excellent. Cool. Right, let me just choose a few places. I want to delete those markers on the map. That was me. Does everyone see this on the map, right? Should be on side channel over on the left. Red markers, left side of the large island.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What is this dick-looking icon?
Missile air defense.
Oh, cool.
Nice. Stick-looking icon. I mean, he's not wrong.
I'm never wrong, except when I'm wrong.
I'm just finding locations, bear with me. It's like quite a fucking... All the villages are all seem to be like super close to each other, so it makes it kind of awkward for this sort of thing.
Oh, guess who just joined? MB.
What, the server?
Just joined the Discord.
Oh, no way. Nearly there. Oh, actually, you know what? So just dividing the map so like you know where scenarios begin and end. That's all.
What is the
Okay,
H supposed to be in this context?
heavy.
Tanks usually, I mean, like heavy reinforced or what?
Yeah.
I mean, tanks are usually tanks.
We could have light. You could have light tanks,
Yes.
or you could have airborne tanks.
I mean-
Heavy tanks would mean main battle tanks more than likely.
Right, interesting.
Because so for example, like light tanks would be BTRs. Oh well, yeah. I guess you could say they're motorized, but we have light tanks in the British Army, and they're like reconnaissance tanks, or like APCs, like Warriors would be a light tank technically, or an IFE. But obviously, how you handle it would be completely different. Bear with me, I was just looking for a location for the next thing. It's clustered as fuck. This map, so it's hard to pick a place. Shit. Well, the towns are too big. Alright, we'll do that.
Okay, guys, sorry, I got to go.
Okay, mate. No worries.
Yep, thank you very much. This was quite informative. About the ambush part, this was really awesome.
Nice.
Okay, gotta go. See you.
Alright. Cool. So what we're gonna do is that's pretty much that one. We're gonna recce. We're gonna do assault that one. Okay. Yeah. So if I just take one person with me at a time. So Shuffle and Revenue come with me. So Shuffle, you stay here, and then what I want you to do, Shuffle, is you see the this area here.
Yeah.
So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be assaulting the mill, and you're going to be coming from over here.
Where? I don't see.
Blue marker to the north.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And let's do this.
So 258, right?
Section. So you got that there as well. There's a suspected enemy squadron. So that's your. You could choose whatever area, but I'm just grouping them off so people don't get confused. Revan. Me. You are going to be conducting a assault on the second area here. So you're going to be assaulting this town here.
Okay.
In fact, cancel that. You are going to be conducting a ambush. They are expected
What?
to be using this main road. So there's basically ArmA here. We're not sure which way they're going to go. They're going to go here. I might just see which route you want to go. So you can go that way, or you can go that way. Just choose one, and then just go with the plan from there. Right? Do more. Green, go as cynical, and then you can talk it through what you're doing.
Wait.
No. No, just green. Cool. So if you look at your map, look over to the far left, down here. So your area is this big square. So there's a suspected missile air defense battery, we believe, on this hill and this area here. You're going to be conducting a recce with your section, and your start point is going to be in this general area marking now. Up there. Yeah, so route. Don't forget all the phases, actions on, how you're going to do the recce, where you're going to put people, taking into consideration you've got enemy armor here and suspected enemy activity there, and also up there to north. Actually, fuck it, that one can fuck off, but those three, right?
All right.
And then you can sort of explain cynical as well as you go through it. If you want. Who else we got?
I'll think about it first.
You last man, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. You can just stay up there, it's fine. And then you're going to be doing. Find a better one. I want you to do a different one rather than doing the same one. I think it'd be better. Find one. Find a nice little place for you. Map is so like densely populated. It's hard to like pick places up. So yeah, I can see it. So you are going to be doing. I've got one assault. I've got one.
If you
you're going to be doing another
hold Windows key on me, you should be able to join group.
Sorry. Let's look at actually the island that we're on now. Right. So
Windows key and then
enemy
interactions, and then join group.
down here.
Work.
Okay, fucking armor. So it's light armor. Right, they're based down there. Right. Okay. Supplies have been coming into this dock here. Here. They're arriving in this dock here. We believe that they have been moving transport from this harbour to that fob to reinforce it. Yeah. You will be deploying into this area here, on this edge, you'll be inserted by a boat. And it's up to you then, where you are basically to conduct an ambush on an enemy convoy, or like, you know, whatever it could be, personnel, vehicles, you're unsure. More than likely it's going to be some kind of vehicles and infantry between that location and their FOB location. So it's up to you. You can choose anywhere on the island, look at the whole terrain, you can use it all, you've got a full section, machine guns, and if you want to have AT in explosives, then you can have that. So just think your plan on the phases, and then I'll come back in a bit. Okay, everyone, the time is now 5 minutes to. So you've got 10 minutes from now.
So the extraction point is the same point as insertion.
Don't worry too much about that. But yeah, you can take it into consideration. Yeah, just say you're going to extract from the same location if you like. Yeah, right. Or you can choose a different one.
I mean, it's very important actually.
Okay, yeah, you can say you can do that.
Because it could do something really fucking cheesy and yeah.
Yeah, don't do that.
Mate, could you have picked any difficult more spot? What the fuck?
What? What's wrong?
It's a pretty bad spot, but okay.
Is it?
I mean, it's on a ridge on one side. One side's got like fucking town on it, the other's got fucking tank in it. Like, okay,
right,
I'll manage. It's okay.
I'll move it.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Better?
No,
The idea was
put
that
back.
you... Right, I don't know what it was. It was there, wasn't it? The idea is managing. That's the whole point. If you're ready early, once you're ready, and you're sure you've taken your whole time and you've got everything ready, you obviously control your, don't forget things like your route, so where you want to place your waypoints, because obviously when you're moving, you're going to have waypoints, so people are going to call them out, waypoint 1, waypoint 2, over the radio, where your sections are going to move, so preferably get that drawn up now, get that plan drawn up roughly, or any other plans that you could do, but notes on the map if you like. So you've got another 8 minutes left.
yeah, I'm gonna try managing a little bit something. Triangle.
Yeah.
Little question. So, Iraqi, what size? One
Got
section,
section.
2 sections?
1.
One?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
1 foot.
I'll draw the lines and then I'll kind of explain it, because it's a bit, wait, it'll come together.
What about now? Ignore this. Green, say something.
Hello?
There you go. Just testing the stream. People watching the stream, I'm going to move the channel to the regular channel so everyone can watch. 1 minute. 1 minute remaining.
So, lines I draw, it's a bit shit, but we'll go with it. So we obviously start from the blue point up on that hill, crossing down, crossing the road through the most possible cover, then continuing on one side of that hill, which the possibility is less to be spotted on, in the cover as good as possible. Then we come up to that freeway junction, and I put one fire team at point 02 to observe the road going into the fucking missile point, observation point we're gonna observe. And then have C1 and C2 have the cutoff group there, and then have 2 people go up to the actual observation point 1.
On me, please. Put down some little cargo container area, please, briefs.
Okay. Yeah, and then have them switch around to the other points as well.
Wait here, one sec.
Depends on the cover over there. So, yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I haven't been talking, but I got a phone call in between as well. So. Where'd you go? Well, you've arrived.
Right. This bit so fucking bad. No. Oh, now it works, piece of shit. Cool. Just have a seat sort of in front of me, just in twos for now. Sort of like this, sort of like here, like this, facing the front,
Oh my god.
like you're in school. Come on in.
Actual map.
Teacher, I have to go to the bathroom.
Fucking banned for life.
Teacher, he's smoking inside the classroom.
Apparently they can't hear your voices on the Discord. I don't know how to fix that. Is there any way to fix that with fucking
Whose voices? Ours?
just TeamSpeak? Yeah.
No, there's no. Unless
The
you have,
voices in
like,
my head.
a setup to
There's a
link
way to do it, but
Discord
it's
to
fucking complicated.
TeamSpeak's audio, because the audio is coming. Our voices are coming from TeamSpeak, but
Yeah.
Discord is only listening to ArmA.
Yeah, there must be a way though. Very quickly do it. Audio systems. Where's the streaming settings on here? Streamer mode. Picking up Discord Stream Kit. Oh, well, that's frustrating. I can always do the stream settings, maybe. No. Voice If I stream my whole screen, yeah, wait.
Noise.
Hey, what's up, brother?
Is that what? That
Zero.
0. Let's see if that's fixed anything. There's like 3 or 4 people watching the stream.
Hey.
Oh,
People
you're
watching
streaming this on YouTube now? Ah, link that in the Discord, and then everyone can watch that instead. That solves my fucking problem. Oh, fuck. Discord. Discord! What are you doing? There you go. Is it Sin? Was it Sin Gamer still? Just into the news. Sorry, into the. Just, yeah, put it into the news under my link. Sorry, under what I've just posted. Right, I'll speak quickly and see if I hear my voice. No, yours isn't capturing TeamSpeak either, mate. Oh, I did hear myself then. Yeah, I think it's working. Yeah, ignore me. It's just because everyone apparently knows speaking for delayed. All right, cool. Right, I guess I was going to go ahead and imagine that everyone is able to listen. So, obviously, what we've covered today, we've covered a variety of topics. We've covered the recce, we've covered the ambush, and we've covered the assault. This kind of stuff is something that you're going to learn and you'll get better at over time. This is just the basics. You could easily run through this entire session again, and then you would just have the exercises and you would just practice. And that's something that we'll do with your fire teams in your sections and stuff on training exercises coming up, so that you can practice with your guys, get out there and they can get used to it. Does anyone want to volunteer to go first? Revan, really, you should probably go first because I
Sure.
gave you yours first. Cool, Revan, you want to come up to the front then, mate?
Okay, so is everyone able to, if everyone goes to the town of St. Mary, are you guys able to see my markers on the map?
I know.
God damn it.
I made
Okay.
the
What,
same
did you place
mistake,
it
and
in?
I made them in group channel as well.
No, I thought if I did them in like proximity, it would move to you guys, but no. Okay,
There's only
so
proximity of when you place.
it's okay. I will just redraw them.
Does
Alright,
someone else
so-
want to go first? All right, okay.
Oh no, that's good. All right, so I was tasked with planning an ambush on this vehicle element here, moving north towards through Saint Main, up to this position here where there's some possible infantry. So for my ambush, I decided to set up in this little area here, just past the town. The reason why I chose this terrain specifically was due to the forested area here, and also due to the fact that this is a bit of a low ground. There's high ground in here. There's high ground over here. This is obviously a mountain. So this is kind of a natural funnel. So what I've done is I placed some trench positions. Let me make sure I'm in. I placed some trench positions here and here as cutoff points.
Just do dots, mate, if you can.
That's okay.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I can see that. That's all right.
Yeah.
What channel are you in?
Global.
Global. Okay.
So these 2 points here are my cutoff points. So this is my far left of arc. This is my far right of arc, and these guys their job is to cover the road, coming in and out of the kill box, which is I will just highlight the kill box here so you guys can see it. This is the kill area. So their job is they're covering these roads here and here to make sure that the enemy aren't no one's coming down these roads and no one's leaving through these roads. Next up, I placed 3 trenches next to the road. These are the
Don't worry too much about those because those will just be placed by the individuals in the best location.
yeah, exactly. They're roughly in this area. This is where the majority of the section will be. These are going to be the guys who are. This is going to be the search section, also the demo section. Once the ambush has been conducted and the vehicles have been destroyed, these guys are going to come and they're going to search all the vehicles heading in this direction. And then this section here is going to move in after them, plant the charges, as well as move in this way. Additionally, on this kind of forested area here, I placed a GPMG/AT trench for the command element, so that so they're placed on a like a high feature here inside of some trees, so that they got some concealment and they can also fire down on the kill box here. Finally, there's one more trench located here. This trench is the security trench, and their job is to keep an eye on this area here. So if anyone disembarks from these vehicles and tries to run in this direction, they have free reign to engage anyone running in this direction. So once the ambush has been successfully concluded, the vehicles have been neutralized. I touched on it earlier. This section here is the search section. They're going to search the vehicles heading in this direction, followed by the demo team who's going to come in and then plant the charges heading this way. GPMG AT are also going to fall back in this direction, as well as this trench here. At the same time as the GPMG section is moving, and these guys are at the cutoff point here, the rear cutoff point is going to peel off and make their way back down the road, as well as the security section. And then everyone's going to basically head off in this direction and then fall back to roughly this position. No, that's not what I wanted. This position right here. This is the RV. At this point, they're going to blow the charges and make sure everyone's accounted for before extracting into this direction, away from enemy positions here.
Can you mark? I can't see.
Not see? Did it switch to the fucking... Oh, it switched channels. Okay, there we go.
How are you
some
switching
reason
channels like that?
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, this is the RV point. Right here. This is where everyone's going to group back up, blow the charges, make sure everyone's accounted for before extracting in this direction, away from enemy positions here. And yeah, that's it. That's my ambush.
Okay, what we'll do then is we'll start with questions. So not positive or negative points. It's if you're not sure about something or with the plan, ask a question. There should be at least fucking one question. Right, I'll ask a question then. How are you going to signal the start of the attack?
So the start of the attack is obviously we want all our targets to be in this little kill box here.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be up to the GPMG AT team because they have the most eyes on because they're higher. They can see a little bit better. They can tell when everyone's inside the kill zone, and they're ideally going to be the first ones to hit the front vehicle in the rear with anti-tank as well as the GPMG. And then anybody who's got light AT in these trenches can hit the rest of the vehicles.
Okay. If no one had any questions, has anyone got any points before I go into it?
Well, I just had... It's just an observation on my point. So, when I'm looking at sort of like the overlay of the trench positionings on the left hand side of the road.
Yeah, right
So
over here.
yeah, so no, so this bit here. Okay, so if the enemy position is there, and they're gonna be coming from this side, right?
Hmm.
I take it. So instead of having, I'd say sort of like the trench positionings for me would just be overkill, because really and truly you'd only need maybe 2 trenches. Let's say, okay, you've got that set up there, which is perfectly fine, and this one here, but you'd only really need this one and that one, because these guys here are really clustered together, and you have to sort of like think of the eventuality. So having that one and having that one, you don't really need. And then at least you could sort of use that person as, well, Triangle said, how you're going to signal the attack. These could be stationed to do something else as well as these. That way you'd still have that viewpoint if anyone wanted to disembark whilst you're carrying out the ops and demo. You've also got this as overlook, because I'm just thinking as well, say for instance, if this was supposed to engage, they're going to be in the line of fire. So that's the only thing for me. I was just looking at that and I just think that everyone's a bit too clustered together in this section for my liking.
Cool. Anyone else?
So
All right, my turn. You ready?
go ahead. Destroy my asshole, please.
Please.
Okay, so it's going really well, and then you start to change things up a bit, and it started to get a bit shit. So this command trench thing is okay. You could have the commander up there, but in no way, fucking shape or form are you to have a GPMG or an AT gunner firing over the heads of anyone else, because that is a fucking massive no-no. In absolutely no way, shape or form should that ever, ever, ever happen. So don't do that. They could be there in overall command position, but think of distance, think of audible communication, think of command. If something goes wrong, if people are only speaking in direct, if people go down, you're up here, you're 100 meters away. If you go down, like, you're away from it all. So it's probably best to be in and amongst it. But you could be up here, that's okay. The cut-off areas, yeah, it's good. I think that's fine. You've probably got a good view there. And in this one, yeah, you could even have it probably angling like straight out when you actually do it. The security thing, yeah, again, you've added something there. If you wanted to have another group, I don't really know where you got this security thing from. I kind of think you've combined.
I've done it before in real life during section attacks and like
for
during
ambush?
training. Yeah, like there's, you got the attacking element, you got your base of fire, and then you have security. Security's job is making sure that no one leaves.
But what are these two then?
These guys are covering the roads. I'm saying like this trench here, their job, because this is a low feature right here. The slope goes down this way, so that these guys
How
can't
many men?
necessarily
So
see
how
it.
many men are you gonna have? So you're gonna have one here.
So I'm assuming
two.
like a section. So we have one person here, one or two people here, 3 people here, and then people in these trenches. So roughly like 7, 8.
So okay, so yeah, I get the idea, and I'm sure you've done it before. What you're kind of doing is an L-shaped ambush, but kind of halfway there, where like they would sort of drive in. But the issue with that is that I would never realistically, I don't know any section commander that would ever put any of his own troops opposite fucking everyone. If you've got 2 people there, you've got 6 people here, including machine guns, firing in that direction. If one of the vehicles starts backing up and infantry start getting out here and running this way, do you think he's going to fucking remember that there's blokes up on this hill, or do you think he's going to spray with his machine gun?
Okay, so I'm not. Everyone who's like, how I've always been taught is everyone in an entrenched position has pre-designated arcs of fire. You cannot go over. You cannot go past your arcs of fire. So
Yeah, but I know that, but how are you going to do that in game? Are you really going to be able to
You
do that
go up to
effectively
you
in
go up to
game?
the person and be like, "Hey, reference that tree right there. Do you see it? Yes, you see it. Okay, that is your right of arc. Do not go past that right of arc."
Yeah, you could do it. Do you think that that's going to work?
I mean, yeah.
Does anyone else think that's going to work?
Maybe.
If you
You're
can
like,
punish
yeah,
them in
don't,
real life,
yeah,
yes.
just be like,
Do you
yeah,
think wearing night vision
don't
goggles?
shoot past that tree because
Do you
if you
think
shoot past that tree, you'll be shooting into friendlies.
you could do it, but you're basically going to have to tell what 6 people here. So you sorry, not 6. You're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. So actually, if we went with your original plan, you had your commander. I think it was machine gun and an 80 gun. So you got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you've got 1 person in your kill group.
Well, could be 1 here. Doesn't have to be 2. I said 1 or 2.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you've got 2 people in your kill group. You've got 2 people to plant charges and kill everyone.
Is that right? 3.
Get rid of this. So if you got rid of that, if you go with if you wanted to include this security group because of the training, when you got there, you saw that people could flee and go that way. That's fine. Realistically, mate, if there's vehicles driving down the road and you fucking hitting them with demolitions and rockets and machine gun fire, and they're able to get out and run in the opposite direction, then you're not able to chase them and fucking shoot them down. Something's gone seriously wrong. Because the likelihood is, the whole point of an ambush is that you kill everything within like the first 30 seconds. So you can have a security group like that. It's a good idea, but you've pretty much already got that with a cut-off group. If you wanted to do it, you could potentially move this cut-off group to here, and they're watching this way, and they're informing everyone, and they can also, have a second bloke who doubles up and does that, and then you could brief them. But that way you've got to figure out your manpower, because if you go with what you originally said, you've got 2 people here. So it's good, but don't overcomplicate it, because in real life, yeah, you can do those things and they do work, but in game, it's fucking much harder to execute. And with the MVGs or the monocle in game, you try to tell someone that tree, don't shoot that tree, and there's fucking vehicles blowing up and people getting injured, it's going to be chaos. From there, moving to your RV point here, probably too close to this town, and your extraction, the direction of your extraction, you're moving towards the enemy. If you switch to side, you can see the markers. So you got a heavy armored section down here in this town. So if they hear explosions, so say the explosions go off, everyone is in, you plant all the demolitions and everyone gets out. Realistically, you're pretty much cutting it fine for these troops not to reinforce anyway, which is why you've got to get out of there, especially situations where time is of the essence. So I could take that into consideration and say, right, don't even worry about the dems, just fucking kill everything. And we're going to try ambush it, and I wouldn't even worry about doing the full search. You could even get out, but don't worry about that, because that's just an extra level.
I considered also.
Extract, I would say, rather than pulling into the open and fleeing that way, I would say use this cover you've got, pull down. If you're going to go towards buildings like you are here, make it worth your while, and push through here. Use this woodland here. You got another woodland here, and then you could just fuck off this way, and you've got all this lowland and woodland.
The other extract route I had considered was through here, but I didn't like having everyone put up against the fucking mountain like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
It could
No,
have made it work probably, but I didn't feel like it was worth the risk.
Probably would have worked. Probably would have worked in game in the mission. Probably would have worked fine if you would, the plan. If you would have taught everyone, but I think by me counting out how many people you had in these positions, I think you realised that actually you would have realised on the ground that fuck, that's not going to work, and you would have moved people around, and it just would have taken too long. So just don't complicate it. Go simple. Keep it simple, and it'll work best. Cool. Thanks. Anyone next? So let's go. Who wants to go next? Did you say sorry? Good points.
No, I said fair point.
Oh, okay. No one wants to go next?
I'll go.
I volunteer.
I mean, okay.
I'll use lube this time. Green, yeah. So tell us, what was your objective?
I mean, if you join my group, you can see.
See what?
Everyone joins Green's
Did you
group.
do it in
Yeah,
group channel,
I
did
did
you?
it in group chat. Yeah.
Did you replace them?
Replace. What?
Did you replace them? I can see a load of your markers. I can see 1-1,
Yeah, I can
1-2,
see them as
1-3,
well, I
1-4,
think. No way.
C1, C2.
I cannot see them.
Join the group.
I did.
If you want, I
Got
can
the
do
group
mine
channel.
where you
You
rejoin
only see them
us.
if you're in the group and they place it at the same time, I think. I might be able to copy your map though.
It's in group
please.
channel. In group.
Well, anyone that is watching the stream can see it as well, so it's fine.
Yeah. So who can see it?
Can't see it in your group. You have to be in the
cannot
group when
see
you
it.
create them.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
if you join my group, then
I am.
should
But
be
you
able to
have
see
to
them.
be.
We
in,
are in your group.
You have
Oh.
to be in your group
Oh,
when
okay.
you do
At
it.
the moment you do it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll recreate it a little bit. So you move down here.
Just put the markers, don't worry too much. Just draw them up
Alright.
and then we'll just go through the full thing together. It's fine. Just take a minute. I need to
So
get a
we'll
drink of
go
water.
down there. Yeah, kind of like this. So if you follow my mouse, I got the nice operation to do a recce on a missile site with one section. So we start off down here, make our way through the cover, the green cover, cross the road here, keep going, stick to this side of the hill, keep going through the cover as much as possible.
Are we good to go?
Yeah. Did you go FK? Wait.
I said I was going to go grab some water, just redraw the
Oh,
markers.
what a
Lol.
cunt. What a cunt. Okay, I'll start over.
Let's go stand out there. Oh, I know you need to do the thing. Just stand
Right.
and
So
for the viewers.
start out here, one section, a recce operation on the missile site. So we start here, go down to the green cover, keep going down, cross the road here, stay in cover as much as possible, get Delta to cover Charlie while crossing the roads, etc. Keep moving down here to the points, stick to one side of the hill, the side less likely to be spotted on. Keep going down to this point. Here, Delta will split up in pairs. One pair will go to this point. They'll set up an observation on the road leading to the missile site and keep an eye on any activity in the town down here. The others will set up the pullback line for
Cut-off group, yeah.
Charlie, yeah, the cutoff group for Charlie. Two people from Charlie will be doing the recon. One recon point here, they'll pull back, they'll go there or here, depending on whichever is best to do first.
So, you have
And
some people
the other two
that are
people
there,
will
yeah.
stay here as well to cover these areas.
Okay.
Yeah, it was better in my group chat, but well.
So what sort of approach are you going to be taking when you do the recce?
It depends on the cover. I can't really see from here, but if it's thick cover, probably crawling up to the point, and then listening, looking. Yeah.
Cool. Any questions from anyone? Let's imagine you're in the section, you just received the brief. What things haven't been covered that you need to know? It's better that you guys do it. Come on.
So I do want to say that like this is very like you're only really seeing this from one direction. You really have to like go around. Like one thing that I could say, maybe this position, like if you sent a section down this way into this lower area so they can't be seen, and then up this way into here,
Which way?
and then that way at
Somewhere.
least you
I
get a
can't see
second
what
Your
angle.
mouse
see what
is
you're
like
marking, you're not...
standard on.
Am I in global? Yes, I am. Here,
Oh,
I will draw.
Oh, no, I can see it.
here. So like fall back this way
Really
into
weird.
this
There's like
low
a solid
ground
dot,
up
and then
into
there's
here.
like a dot moving around it. It's really
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
Bit bugged. No, I said any questions if you were in the section, not any points.
No,
This is to the fucking instruction.
I'll save that one for later. Don't worry.
Yeah. When I ask for points, not fucking questions. Questions? Anyone else?
Well, the main thing for me is there's Reki and then there's Reki. It's like, okay, cool. So, do you want me to just go and look,
Yes.
or
Look, write down activity, infantry positions, whatever infantry, whatever Reki contains. Just
Okay,
and
Cheers.
and
Keep on.
Right.
Go on, circle.
hey,
yeah. So obviously there's obviously that first, but also as well for me, it's okay, cool. So yeah, I know we're only going to do Reki or anything. We're only going to do like reconnaissance and stuff. But say for instance, I'm just thinking sort of like more further ahead. So what would be the protocol? So are we gonna report findings via, like long range radio or something to come on and say, okay, this is what's happening. What is the next step after? Because I know we've got the cutoff points. So we've got the cutoff points, the fallback point. Sorry, we've got someone on the observation post. So we've got 01, 02, 03, 04. But then from there, so what do we just Do we just return to base or?
so. What it is this line here
Mhm.
will be held by two people,
Mhm.
and they'll keep covering this direction for when the observation team, the two people, are either going to this point or they're observing this point or this point. If they were to get spotted, they can pull back through this line, and then if there is any enemies following them, then they'll get taken out.
Oh, just a quick one as well before I forget. What was the actual brief?
Just doing recce on it. That's it.
So we weren't sent to like gather any specific like intelligence or anything like that.
Missile site, recce, one section. That's it.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Others?
I might have a question.
Mhm.
Right, the easternmost crew. Yeah,
Yes.
this one.
Well, it's the same crew as all the other points here. These
yeah,
three.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't see his points. It's really annoying. I want to check Cynical's YouTube. Hang on.
Yeah, the easternmost. I don't know. It's the person doing reconnaissance.
Yeah.
I think what I'm concerned about is the visibility
Oh,
of
fucking hell, there's more shit on your map than I can see.
visibility of the silo from that position.
Yeah. Well, the points are for map reference. If it's necessary when you're at the location itself to get closer,
Yes.
crawling.
Okay. Yeah. That's.
Then
okay.
that would be fine. But this is just on the map. I can't see how thick the coverage is there. The bush. Can't see that, but the points are just relative to how close you think you can get without getting spotted, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
Extraction is pretty much the same way we came in. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Anyone else?
Any other points for anyone before I start? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I liked parts of it. I thought it was pretty good. I liked that you considered what I said about the enemies in the area. So you put someone to watch down there. It's good. Thinking outside the box, and again watching that other approach. So that's both really good. From the outset, just be a bit clearer. So just be direct. So just like almost as if you're giving headings. So just say, okay. I mean, maybe you did the first time. Sorry, I was getting water. Maybe I should have said a bit louder. Just say, okay, this is my set of orders. This is my set of orders for a recce on a potential enemy missile, silo, or air defense system. And you say, yeah, we'll start off here. We're going to be heading through the waypoints that you can see here marked in blue. Everyone can see that. And everyone goes, yeah, I can see that. So otherwise you'll fucking brief for 10 minutes and someone will go, I can't see it. I'm not in the right group. Or it's not, what channel is it? I'm in fucking local. And I'm like, all right, so yeah, we're going to head through 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, 1-4, and heading up to here, which I assume 1-5 would be somewhere around here. Each point of those, point man, you're going to be letting me know when we're at those points, and we're going to be radioing those back to HQ to let them know where we are, that kind of thing. So you're like making it clear, because you know that, because you would do that when you got there, but they don't know that you know that. So you need to tell everyone that every part of the plan. People will sit there and they will pick out the bits of information that they need to know. But if you tell them more, then there's nothing you can miss out. And then always bring it in. Say, yeah, okay, we're going to have one group. They're going to move up to an observation post here, and they're going to keep an eye, like you did say, on this road, because we've got reports there's enemy armor in this town here. So we want to keep an eye on this approach. Same suspected enemy in this area up here to the west. And then, so we're going to have observation looking that way. When we move in, we're going to have the cut-off group. They're going to be situated here, in and around the vicinity here. Not all these markers have to be accurate. You know, we could change them on the ground, but it's roughly approximate. And then from there, it's myself and the point man. So like direct who, you know, which person, tell which person. Okay, so we're going to have Shaffle in, you're going to be here. So-and-so, you're going to be here. 2 people, you're going to be here and here. So everyone knows on the ground, and you know it. And just the plan should then fall in place. Same for everyone this applies to. So you're getting, like, people who go late, obviously getting potentially a bit of advantage. Then we're going to move up, crawl. We're going to see what we can see. And then I wouldn't do I can't see them, but I saw them on the stream. You've got like the lines like that. It's okay to signify it, but also you could say, you could come around here like that. You could even potentially come like that, maybe, if you're brave enough.
What you're pointing at.
Oh, sorry, I'm putting them in a group now, so I made your mistake. Here. I'll put them inside. So you can say, yeah, we're going to come along here like this and approach that way. Alternatively, we're going to approach that way like that. And then we're maybe going to come in like this, see what we can see. Maybe like that, something like that. So you've got fucking, change the colour. You've got that view, that view, that view. And then you've got the fucking long ass view. So you've got pretty much all those angles crossed. Do you see that? See what I'm doing there?
Yeah.
So you can think about it as approach. That, I think you'd be fine up there, to be honest, because you're coming around behind the elevation. You've still got that vegetation to cover you. That was good. Be a little bit clearer. Just be a little bit clearer about then what you're going to do if you do get contacted, like what Cynical raised. What happens if you get seen on the way? We're going to try and avoid people. Just say that on the way there, you know, don't have to follow the route exactly, type of thing. You know, use cover appropriately. Let's avoid being seen. We're going to cross the road, you know, as an obstacle. And then we move up, you know, I want people to keep silence. Don't use any light. Use night vision and stuff like that. And then if we do get contacted or anything, we're going to bug out as quickly as we can. But basically the route out is going to be the same route that we used in. And then we're going to extract out there. And that was fine. But I think it's there. I think it's just that little bit extra, which obviously I know because I fucking do it for real. So I'm not expecting you to do that. But if you can move what level you're at now, just a few small changes, like saying, you know, move through 1-1, 1-2 through these markers, can everyone see them? Things like that, like check, ask people, and a little bit more detail. And I think you're really good because I think the premise, the things that you thought about, the approaches on the road, that was really good. That's like the main thing that I was looking for. So I'm really happy. Anyone else got anything before we move on to the next one? Okay, cool. Who wants to go next? Deadlike or Shuffle?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay. You did yours inside, yeah?
I think, yeah.
Good boy,
Yeah.
good boy.
Yeah,
Good boy, he listens. Okay, so Shuffle got a, well, you can brief how you would brief it.
Wait, I thought
Alright, so... What?
Deadlight, right?
Yeah.
You said
Deadlight.
me, but Deadlight is going.
Do I?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, I don't
So
know.
yeah, Deadlight go, yeah.
So first of all, I really didn't like the scenario of this mission. Aside from that, I wouldn't do this mission a day. If possible, I would use silencer on the guns. I also don't need a section. 4 people are usually would be enough for this. So then, first off, just so everyone knows, this here is an enemy military base. So, can anyone see my marker?
Yeah.
My yellow dot?
Yep.
Good. So this is the insert point. We move along the shoreline. Considering it's night, I don't expect to get seen by patrolling troops from, let's say, on this shore. And the reason for the suppressors is in case there are patrolling troops along this shore, we most likely need to take them out. If not, would be great, but you never know. If we didn't use silencers on a mission, then the first gunshots here are basically the mission is over because there's a whole military base just waiting. So it relies us to get to this zone here, unseen, unspotted. After that, the whole road gets just mined with demo blocks. I'm also gonna have 1 machine gunner and 1 spotter up here on this hill, positioned behind the ridgeline to the southwest. So the field of view is more or less this here. Those are the ones that are going to tell us when the convoy is coming up.
Sorry, can you repeat that last bit?
What last bit?
Just that part referring to that position and what they're looking at.
They are basically looking out for the convoy. Since they're on an elevated position, they should be able to see the convoy at least after this curve here. It's basically just a heads up for the people detonating the charges. The guy with the charges is gonna be in here. And should have a view to the street, the road. And considering this is a really long kill box, I hope that basically every vehicle explodes. If not, the machine gunner can suppress the people, but since the military base is so close and we got a base with tanks up here.
There's no enemies up at that one. That one on the left there.
Oh, it's not, okay.
Yeah.
Right, that makes it a lot easier.
Only the markers that are in the scenario.
Well, if that's the case, then I would keep engaging with the people in the in the position in the trenches. And if we are sure that anyone is dead, we're gonna retreat on the shore back to here and take a boat out. I mean, we could also cheese it and just say the boat is waiting for us here and just exfil from there. But that's not up to me. Yeah, I guess that's it.
Cool. Everyone could do this. If you control, so you see this one here, this trench?
Yeah.
Control right click in the center, click height, and then click on the road up there, and then mouse over the right. That's the position of the trench.
Yeah.
And then far left is the position of the road. So
yeah, that's what I thought.
Much higher.
That's what the question mark is above it.
The right click to leave sometimes doesn't fucking
more
work,
like useless.
Just double click right click.
Feels bad.
And then same for this one. Just give it a try. And your height, and then click the closest part to the road. So that one's
better.
Really?
I mean,
13.18 meters, and then
I'm saying if
30.
they moved it up further a bit,
It's over a
it'll
bluff.
be better.
Yeah, you can always adjust those. But now that tool's available, that's something that you can always use to check. Cool. So, any questions from the section? Remember, you're being briefed. This is the first time you heard of it.
Just a quick one. What was the brief of the mission again? Sorry.
It's to interrupt supplies coming from the harbor going to the tanks. The base with the tanks.
Okay. So the base. Okay. The main thing for me is that it's coming from the harbor, right? Which can you see my yellow dot? Yeah.
Yep.
On the map. It's coming from this harbor. I take it, right?
Yep.
So if it's going from the harbor to the base, right?
It's going to this base, to the tanks.
Over on the right side of the island, far side.
Okay, cool.
And I have assumed because it's a military base that where...
Yeah, he assumed that there was enemies there, so
Okay, cool.
pretend that there are for the plan.
Yeah, no, it's fine. No, I just wanted to know, only because when you said that, you know, I think when you were saying that there's people in the base there or something like that. Only because I was just thinking, you know, if we're coming across this bit, and then it's fine, sort of like for that to sort of like be the kill zone or the kill box. But I would say, just for argument's sake, just from what I could see, wouldn't it have been a little bit better? You wouldn't even need to have a lot of people, but say you had like a small section that went to sort of like provide some sort of like overwatch, let's say a little bit closer to the harbor, and they could be your recon, just so that you can know if there's any enemies or when the enemies are sort of approaching this area, rather than sort of like just depending on the person in Overwatch 1 looking down, because you would have more time to react. Say for instance, if anything was to happen, and instead of you, just the same like when I'm just thinking back to Revan's plan, having to sort of like fall back on your Overwatch to have to engage with the people in that kill box.
Well, that's the thing. I really didn't want to stay long
if
in
you
the kill
right click
zone.
on his Overwatch position he's selected, you control right click and then click height. If you drag and then click the cross that I put on the harbour area, and then you mouse over the far right, so that's
wait,
position.
Hold on. So I go height, and then what do I click? Left click?
Left click on the Overwatch, and then left click again on the harbour area.
Okay, so harbour area is down there. So
if you drag your mouse onto the graph,
yeah, I can see it.
As you move it, you see the red dot. So if you follow it all the way along, you can see that actually he's got good eyes from that Overwatch position on the road entering that part of the military base. So just about mark it again with red.
I can see it just by where the flag is and LTC Windstar.
Just there.
Okay, cool. Right. Okay, yeah.
I mean, gotta clarify, me assuming the military base is full of enemies, I expected as soon as the demo blocks are gonna go off, this place is gonna be swamped with enemies immediately. So my idea was, as soon as you blow the convoy up, exfil ASAP.
Yeah.
Just use the machine gun if you really have to. But
So
just go.
Just a quick one, not for you, Deadlight. Triangle. You know the one, the top right hand one. So is that gonna have enemies in there as well?
Thanks, probably.
Okay.
And I really don't want to face those.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, that's it. Those are the only two things that I had to. What I was asking.
It was tricky. It's a bit awkward, but then it often is best to practice on the ones that are awkward, because then if I give you a good location on the mission, because I've probably already looked there, it'll make your life easier. Obviously there was the issue with your trenches not being able to see the road, but you wouldn't have put them there. You would have got there, realised, and then you probably would have moved them higher up or
Yeah, I
something
mean,
like that.
to be
And
fair,
then-
those on the map placed trenches are just a suggestion. It's like, I
Yeah.
mean,
I
soldiers
think
are gonna place them themselves.
the kill box probably would have been more effective potentially. You don't have to be super close to the road. I'm just thinking. I would have to do the height check, but you could maybe have had them sort of like some like here. I was again. Oh, let me put it in black. You could have maybe had some here, and then the rest you could have had here. So then you could even have like you could have had the kill zone boxes sort of like this,
Mm-hmm.
and then that way you could fire over their heads because that height difference is enough. And then also you've got a kill zone, like like there and like that. That wouldn't be a problem because you're still engaging within 100 meters, 180 meters. So this team would then pull down whilst the Overwatch maintain on this high ground, keeping an eye on what was coming, and then they pulled down and you got out of there. But yeah, it's good. Just a little bit on the detail, and just check your height and stuff beforehand, just so that when you do get there, because there's multiple things come into it. Oh yeah, so the other thing I was going to say, brief your plan with confidence. Don't say, oh, I wouldn't like this or I don't like this. Like if you get a task to go do this, don't go back to your fire team or don't go back to the section. This applies to everyone, and complain about it or say that it's pointless or that you wouldn't do it a particular way, because it then undermines what you've been asked to do. So it undermines the whole chain of command, and then it also undermines you telling them that, because if you're like, yeah, this is fucking shit, guys, I don't think it's going to work, we're going to go here, we're going to do this, and they fucking just sat down ready for their 2-hour op, they're going to be like, all right, fuck, great, this is going to be shit, this isn't going to work, we're all going to die then, this is going to be crap. And then you're like, oh, so it's not going to work, we're all going to die. And you're like, yeah, don't think it's going to work, don't like it. And they're like, oh, okay. So think about how that's going to affect the plan. And obviously people aren't going to be believing it. Sell it. You're like, right, okay, guys, this is what we're going to do. We're going to move in. We're going to set an Overwatch up here. Their responsibility is to keep an eye on this base and also let us know when the convoy is coming. We're going to set up trenches in and around this area here. You don't have to like mark them exactly like that. You could always just like mark a general area. So you could always be like, we're going to look at this area here. I think it's going to have good elevation, and we're looking to aim the kill zone. It's going to be in this area here. Don't forget about the cutoff groups. So you have a cutoff group here, and then they can also, Overwatch can also act as a cutoff group as well. See what I mean? And then like, right, once we hit them, we're going to hit them with absolutely everything we've got. We're going to mine the road with dem blocks, and we're also going to use AT and a machine gun. We're going to rake the convoy with fire. Once we've halted, we're going to hit the lead vehicle first, then the rear vehicle at the same time, kill everything in the middle. If we start to take sustained fire, we're going to get the fuck out of there if we can't win the firefight. But we're going to do as much damage as possible, and then we're going to bug out to the extract here and avoid getting hit by enemy reinforcements and then get out of there. Is there any questions? And you're like, right. If I sat there and I'm like, Mr. fucking recruit Latvian number 98, I'd be like, okay, I like this plan, this is good. Also, all Latvians sound like green, just so you know.
Fuck you, mate.
Cool. Is everyone happy with those points?
Yes.
Cool. And then Shuffle, last bloke.
Alright, before I start, I want to make sure, just switch to global channel if you see my markers in the northeastern section, southern of the military base.
Yep, got it.
Yep.
Bosco?
Yep.
Okay. Alright, boys, the plan is simple. We have 2 fire teams starting here. They will patrol together to ambush an expected armored section waiting in the lumber mill at the place I'm pointing at. We will be starting at dusk, preferably, to have low visibility of us moving to the area of objective and prepare ourselves for the ambush. The 2 fire teams will patrol together to the waypoint 1, which the route will be alongside the lower side of the hill to avoid skylining towards the town, where we also have expected infantry sections that will possibly reinforce if the ambush goes wrong.
Are you left clicking?
Sorry.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Just move it a little bit slower because it doesn't quite catch
Takes
up
a
with the
while.
server. Takes a little while.
All right, to go back. So we will start at waypoint 1, obscured, not skylining, at which point the fireteam Charlie will split up to move towards Overwatch 1, preferably as sneaky as possible. Use the vegetation highlighted here. Be very careful about crossing the road towards the objective, because as we can see here, this road connects to the town. We can expect maybe some enemy transportation coming along through there, and use the vegetation to eventually move towards Overwatch 1. Fireteam Delta will also move by this line towards Overwatch 2. This should be a bit quicker to basically, it should take the same amount of time for Charlie to move to Overwatch 1 with Delta to move to Overwatch 2, because Charlie will probably have to move a bit slower to avoid detection, whilst Delta will probably just could like hightail it over there. When both fire teams are in position, leads will communicate by radio that they are set, at which point they will start, or during they will start reconnaissing the area, watching and accounting for the expected armor. If the contact is there upon further communication, the ambush will start when both fire teams are comfortably set to attack their targets. One thing I want to mention is that this AO has very tricky terrain, which has advantages and disadvantages. One of the advantages is that Overwatch 1 is on quite a steep hill from the area of objective, as you can see, which means if any of the armor decides to move towards their position, there's quite a bit of a height difference. So as they are moving, they will probably not be able to fire upon their position, which they probably could use to their advantage, whilst the Overwatch 2 has a nice height advantage to see the AO. Depending on how the ambush will go, if it goes well, we will then use Delta to move into the lumber mill to clear out any stragglers and secure the area, whilst Charlie in Overwatch 1 will refocus their Overwatch on this exclamation point right here, this place, which is basically the road that leads to the town. If by any chance the infantry section will hear and try to investigate, we will have to make sure that these 2 points are covered. Now, depending on the situation, probably the most ideal one with extraction is after Delta secures the area of objective, Charlie will move down into the lumber mill. They will the two fire teams will get back together and move down here to be collected by boat to travel back to FOB Alpha at the airport, because we probably shouldn't be fucking about around the town to go back, because we'll probably kick a hornet's nest. Yes, that's probably it from me.
Okay. Questions, guys? Anything? you need to know?
So what was the actual brief? Was it? Yeah.
We are to ambush a suspected ArmA section in the lumber mill.
Okay.
Assault.
So,
Oh, right.
I mean,
And-
technically it could be an ambush if they don't expect us, but whatever.
Yeah.
yes, assault, because we don't have time to entrench and prepare. Preferably this operation should go as fast as possible to avoid the reinforcement from the town. So should just get there, get both fire teams in place, attack, clear out to AO, and fuck off.
So in this context, and in a military context, that would be an assault, like an attack.
Yeah, sorry, that's...
It's an ambush. Just so you're aware, would be it is conventionally recognised as troops being caught off guard, usually whilst in movement. So like whether that's on patrol or on video.
So I have one more question. As part of the section, is Overwatch point 1 and 2 moving into position at the same time, or?
You mean from waypoint 1 or after the assault?
From waypoint 1.
Yes, they will split off and move at the same time.
All right.
I've got a quick one for you, Shuffle. You know the route for Overwatch 2.
Excuse me, again?
You know, you've got the point for where from waypoint 1 where you've got is it Charlie and Delta? You said, yeah, where they split. First, I'll just ask, what's it called? You know when you go. So say for instance, if you just look at the route, like for Overwatch 2, they're gonna have to climb a really steep hill in comparison to en route to Overwatch 1. So I was just thinking, even if they do climb that steep hill, that looks pretty much vertical to me. But you see when they get to the road, what's that? So where Overwatch 2's route, where they cross that the road.
You mean here?
Yeah, just right here. I think, wouldn't it have been better if you sort of like at least put them into, at least so they can go into a bit of cover? Because from what I can see is that, yeah, they go here, they're going up, the hill's getting gradually steeper and steeper.
Yes.
But they're quite exposed. Whereas if they went this way, over into the tree line there, at least they can get a little bit of cover.
That route is a reference. I also wanted to mention the fact that, of course, Charlie probably should, or at least Charlie Elite should, inform Delta about if they see something moving along this road, moving towards their route, to the route of Delta, to inform them about the movements and the possibility of contact. So if that should happen, then Delta should take that into account. But as you can see on the map, this route probably leads like to just small buildings, so there's not a bit of a possibility to contact actually move there. My main suspect is probably just this crossroad, because I expect contacts to move from the town towards the AO and not really to take this route. But yeah, that was a good suggestion with the steep hill. They can probably adjust their route to, well, the terrain is fucked everywhere anyway, but probably they could take an easier route, secure this structure, whatever it is, and then move.
Yeah, they could follow the same route together and then separate here.
Yeah.
Go that way.
Well, there's a possibility because the terrain will flatten out here.
Yeah, so you could take them both up that way if you wanted to, and then.
Well, that was literally, apart from that, everything else sounded pretty spot on to me. It was literally just, that was the only thing that I just saw from obviously what Delta would have to go through. And by the time they get to Overwatch 2, they'll be dead.
I'm just worried about, having two fire teams in one quite visible place from the town.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Cool. So to start with, if you were to look at the icons on the map, obviously this is new to everyone. The suspected enemy in the town is a section. I mean, it's suspected, so you could say it could potentially be more, but a section is not a huge threat. So that was kind of why I put a section rather than like an armored platoon like I have been, because it was super close. So it's a problem, but it wasn't supposed to be like an enormous hindrance. The only thing with the initial part of the orders is that obviously you kept saying ambush, but I knew it was an assault. So that's probably just like out of practice with your English and stuff. So
That's just
I'm
my
not,
poor Chechnyan in there.
yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. I'm not gonna pick up on that, but like it's just it kind of like undermined what you were saying. But then that's just happened sometimes. If you were here and command said, "Where are you?" What would you say?
I'm sorry again.
If you were here where my yellow dot is,
Yes.
the command said, "Where are you?" What would you say?
Grid square reference.
Yes.
No, it wasn't what I was looking for. Would you say I'm 75% of the way to waypoint 1?
Damn right.
And if you were here, what would you tell them? If you said, right, Delta team, where are you?
25% towards Overwatch 2. I don't know. I don't know. Sorry, just explain.
So, if I was to look at that, the detail. So say that you've had 10 minutes, right? So 10 minutes, like from 10 minutes of that, I would expect to see 10 minutes worth of work on the map, explaining route in, color coding the waypoints, route out, who's going where, that kind of thing. So kind of like what Green's done. That's good. That level of detail, like color coding it, it's clear who's going where, pretty much. Revan's could have done with a bit more work.
Originally.
He had more markers originally, and then Deadlights was to the point and good. I think probably obviously with the adjustments and stuff, could have smartened it up, but that's fine. I obviously trashed it there afterwards anyway. So the markers I would probably put so if that's your start point, you would probably want to have a key point. So easiest thing as well would be like straight lines to start. That's Control Shift. So move here. So you can say I am halfway to waypoint 1. That is fine. You can say like waypoint 1 is going to be when you get to this set of rocks, and then you're going to move here. So you can have waypoint 1. Oh fucking hell! I hate that bastard thing. I don't. You can edit markers now. Was that always a thing? Was it?
When you get it right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like I'm
Click
getting
it
it right.
100% on the dot.
Yeah. And then we're going to say that waypoint 2 is going to be here. And then you're going to draw a line to those. Black dot. And then you're like, right. And then we're going to say Charlie, because they're color coded as red, say maybe in squad management as part of your plan. You're then going to switch to red. And then you're going to say, right, they're going to fucking come probably like in this way. Because it's lower. Like that. And then occupy up here. So what I'm looking for here is, so you could put like Charlie 1 there. And then Charlie 2 maybe. Obviously you could get some confusion, but you see what I'm trying to relay. And then with the blue, you would say, right, they're going to go through here, and then they're going to go up that. So I'm just going to delete these other ones, like so. And then you'd have like Delta 1, Delta 2 maybe, and then here you'd have Delta 3, something like that. Probably you didn't even need Delta 2 for that one. And then with the markers, so you could use like a different shade of red. This is for everyone, this detail. So you could say, right, when they move into position, I want Charlie team, you're going to have some guys, you're going to be looking, I want you to keep eyes on this road down here. So I want like people looking out in that direction. If I can, like that, maybe, something like that. I also want getting eyes on the town, like so, something like that. You don't have to cut it because obviously it'll be too messy, but when you brief it, you could draw it and then delete it afterwards. Delta 5 team, you're going to be up on the hill up here. You're going to be looking down, you're going to be giving good eyes on that, but also you're going to have good eyes on anything coming out of the town that Charlie may not have seen when Charlie move in. So it's up to you which one to do. I've seen this part of the map because we were there we were doing something there. I can't remember if we did. You did that op there, didn't you?
Before the campaign started, we were
Yeah,
there doing a mission.
The one that I set up. Yeah, no, I wasn't there. Okay, so that's a really good Overwatch position. So they're really high up. So you said that these would attack and these would hold. Realistically, I would use this as a way to cover because they're at the best position. So you'd want your machine gun and stuff here. They can see the road coming in, and they can also see straight into here. So they're going to be the guys that open up and cover fire, and then these are the guys that I would say push in and clear the buildings. Have a little bit of a more detailed plan.
They have a giant steep hill on the way there, which is a bit
Charlie,
janky. It's Charlie 2 towards the AO.
that's down.
Yes.
That's 200. That's 211. They could do that, or they could do that, or they could go that way. It's steep, but it's not possibly steep. It's no steeper than what Delta team would climb up here. In fact, it's less steep. And then I'd say, and I'd have like
movement. That's not attack.
You're going downhill. If you're attacking downhill, it's okay. It's only when you're attacking uphill that harsh terrain is really a problem because they're gonna see down this whole time. They can suppress, and then as they get closer, if they can even come down this way or come down the road. They can then cease fire or shift fire to just be this bit. So you could be like, cool, this is your second arc of fire. And then I would look at maybe like, obviously I've used C, so you would probably not use C, but you could have like 2, stuff like that. So you could like think about maybe, this is because you're the only one who did the assault, so I have to use it. These points for an example. 4, and then like fucking 5, 6, and then 7, stuff like that. And then you could maybe even think about naming points. So this is for everyone. So you put like, right, we're going to call that area there is going to be known as Snake Junction, something like that. So it's just a reference point on the map. So you've got the reference points set here, so you could delete these arcs once you've displayed it during the brief. And then you've got the buildings of reference. So you can say, right, actually, Delta up here said, right, okay, we've got 1 times enemy in compound 7, and we've got a few vehicles being kept under compound 3, the large warehouse area. There are some enemies moving in and around 1 and 2. And then you could use like this junction here. You could say, right, if enemies are seen moving up the road towards Snake Junction, if they reach Snake Junction, Charlie are to break contact or break out of these buildings, and they are to break east or north, whichever way your extract wanted to go, with a covering fire with Delta to keep away from them. If there was like such a sufficient force that you couldn't win the firefight. Does everyone see what I mean there? It's obviously like taking it to a whole other plan. However, your plan, Jaffa, was good, mate. Like your whole, like the whole positions. Like, I've not changed the positions of where you're going. I've not changed your approach. I've not changed anything. And what you were saying was absolutely correct. But if I created these markers, like what I've done now, and then you gave your brief, how much easier would your brief be to give if you had these reference points and these markers to use?
Oh yeah, easier.
Do you think like clearer, like that people would maybe understand maybe a bit better, for like the radio operation as well?
I'd say 53% easier.
Yeah, but like with the markers, don't call them like D1 and C1. Call them like 1-1 for Charlie, and then call them like stuff like that, because or like 1-1 alpha, 1-2 alpha. So just think of something, just because if it's C, then it might get a bit confusing. But yeah, and then the extract, you could go that way, go to a boat if you had a boat. Otherwise, go back the other way you can. But that was good. Has anyone got any questions before we just cap this off? Cool.
No.
Has everyone found this useful? I was obviously being harsh there at the end because you've all done really well. I'm not trying to be a dick on purpose. Like, it's just obviously the standard that we do and like I'm used to is obviously really high. Like, but I'm not expecting you guys to do that. I'm just expecting you to take on board. If I give you loads of points and you take on board half of them, then you're fucking 50% better. as far as I'm concerned. But if I only give you like a shorthand version and you fucking take 50% of them on, then yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah, it's good. We've gone through a good few examples there. There is fucking so many more. There's so many different things, but these are like the real basics, like recce. You can adopt what I've taught you here to so many other things now. So like if you could have like an ambush kind of like, you know, integrated into an assault. If you had a recce, you could go from a, you know, get an observation post to get eyes on and then plan the attack and then have a second phase. So how are you going to get in a good position to see? How are you going to operate in an AO where there are enemies in your area that's going to dictate where you move? It's going to canalize your movements. It's going to force you to use certain terrain, certain vegetation, because you know there are enemies in certain areas. And all this is going to be super fucking important because as we start to push out on the campaign to the rest of the map, it's going to get dense. It's going to get more confusing. There's going to be more enemy out there. And if you start getting fucking too close and you start kicking hornets' nests, or you walk into the wrong village, or you know, you use the wrong road, or you're too loud, or someone fucking NDs in the woods too close to a base, it's going to have repercussions, because that's the whole point of the campaign, is to make it feel, you know, as real as possible and as realistic as possible, and make AI react in a proper way. Has anyone got any points for me for this training session? If we were to do it again with other people, any things that you thought were good, bad, things we could improve on, things to do more of, if you'd like to do more of this again, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I want to do more.
More would be nice.
Yeah, has everyone found this useful?
Yeah.
100%.
Good. So everyone now coming out of this should feel a bit more prepared and have a better understanding of kind of what I'm looking for and where we should be moving towards in the future. Brilliant. Cool. Well, unfortunately we lost Ilgmar's and that. I think he would have it would have been good for him to have a scenario. We're really interested to see what he did. Latvian tactics, yeah. Some military experience as well and stuff. But I'm really happy everyone's done equally well there. And if I picked you up on anything or ripped you apart and bent you over the table and fucked you in the arse a little bit, don't take it to heart. It's literally just the way it goes. And, you know, think about it now. It's better to do it now when we're literally just fucking drawing on a map. Then it all goes Pete Tong. It goes fucking wrong when you've got 7 blokes in your section and everyone thinks you're a cunt for like the next 4 weeks until they forget that you fucking got them all killed because you made them sit in the field and a tank fucking rolled over your position or something. So live and learn. Appreciate the session's been fucking long as dick, but this will make your planning process easier and it will make the ops go quicker, hopefully, because you'll know what to do and how to plan it. And 10 minutes of planning is going to save you fucking 20 minutes of fucking about with equipment and when you're on the map and actually doing your shit. So, cool.
Can
Thanks,
someone
everyone.
shift tab and check the session time, please?
Oh, we've been at this for like a couple hours.
My
like
current
almost
session
3
says it was, yeah, we started at, what time did we start? 8 my time?
If you shift tab, it says it at the top
Mine
left.
says
349 minutes this current session.
Yeah, but mine says 278, but we didn't
Mine
start.
says 685.
Oh, oof.
Yeah, but we've been playing for like fucking 2 hours. before
Deadlight?
this.
What does yours say? Deadlight started the game and joined the session, so Deadlight should be the most accurate.
What?
Your
Check your
playtime.
current session time.
How does he
Steam,
look?
Steam
Shift
overlay,
tab.
it's on the top left.
I think it's 3.5 hours.
What?
Or was it 4 hours? 4.5 hours. Might be 4. Just tab underneath the time it says 279 or whatever it's about. Current session.
300 minutes. What?
Okay, I can't be right because mine says 279. What does Cynical say? What's your playtime say, Cynical?
Mine says 200, but I lost connection somewhere after an hour. So,
It says my current session is 134 minutes.
Alright, so it's probably about 3 hours.
It's all over the place.
Cool. Guys, let's go. See you in the lobby.
Oh fuck. Everyone dying.
User left your channel switched.